Alright, folks, and welcome back to the channel. It's time for a post-match reaction following Celtic's 0-0 draw at Tannadice this afternoon. I'm joined by Alistair to go over that. And Alistair, it's probably a game that spells the end of some Celtic players' careers, to put it that way.
Hopefully, Josh, hopefully. No doubt we'll get in there, but I would just like to say Merry Christmas to all the viewers. Most in Boxing Day, because I really don't want to discuss this game. Well, that's 90 minutes I'll never get back, to be honest.
Great. The Boys in Green Christmas special. The
Yeah.
Christmas special
So
was
the
watching.
Boys in Green Christmas party, and if they showed up.
The Christmas special, I was fucking watching Yang and Lewis Palmer stink to place it. Alistair, obviously, it was a waste of 90 minutes, to be honest. And I don't want to sit here and sound like a smart ass, but like I felt this coming. I felt a result of this coming because in a lot of games I've let 45 minutes passes by. The day we let 90 minutes passes by.
Yeah. I mean, everything was in front of Dundee United. They get their bodies in the line, they block shots. They done the bare minimum, but we didn't make them work. And let's be
No,
honest. I mean, did the Dundee United goalkeeper have a serious save to make?
no. I think he tipped something a header over a Maida. It was going over the bar probably anyway.
It was going
So,
over. It was well over.
and that's it really frustrates me. I can understand if you've and credit Dundee United because they and as you say, I always give kind of the opposition credit. Because I thought the stifle was they basically told us, right,
Break it down. It was like
break it, break
it
us
was,
down. You're not getting through the centre areas. You need to get wide. But then that's the problem was Alistair because we get out wide, and you're watching Yang and you know, they were happy to give Yang the ball because they knew fine well that guy has got no end product whatsoever. And I don't want to sit here and be harsh towards players, but it's moments like this we need to kind of look at it and go, right, who's good enough and who's not good enough here. Now, I'm not going to go in here and melt them because we're still in a good position, right? But it further emphasizes for me, Alistair, the strength that needs to take place in January. Before if we ever did get ourselves into a bit of a pickle,
there
we
were
need to.
five. Sorry, John. There were five players there, and I've not got a problem naming and shaming them. Ralston, Welsh, Palmer, Young, and sorry to say, and I know Nathan will listen to this, but if you the drop off between Ralston and and Alison Johnson is night and day. It's I mean that right side today
Oh, it was awful.
was
I think defensively we weren't up against much, but you could tell going forward. You could tell that Yang and Ralston just, and it was a few times Ralston could just get run off the back of. Middleton was having a field day with him today at times. Um, the defence as well. Defensively fine because they didn't have anything to come up against, but you could tell because there just wasn't that. Like
skills didn't have that trust in Welsh, I felt. And I had to sit and jockey him the whole game. That's what it looked like at the game, Josh. I don't know if you felt that watching it, but
it just felt there was some.
like to me.
Sometimes we say, well, most of the time we Celtic are Carter Vickers, especially Johnson. Johnson will be marauding forward, and so we're Carter Vickers, so we can try and break these 10 men because we come out against them every week. Right, let's not beat around the bush. We do, and that's up to the opposition. I don't subscribe to this idea that there was only one team playing. There's only one team playing football. Well, no offense. Like, what do you want Dundee to do? Like,
Everybody knew that's how Jim Goodwin was going to play. He's done it before,
and it worked. And it worked because they were, defensively, really well organised, whatever, but there was no emphasis for us to break down. And I'm going to get into one player who I've actually gave a decent amount of time to, but Yang's not good enough. Let's just stop this train about Yang no having a chance and no getting a run out. He's had umpteen run outs this season and he's been flattered to deceive. And if you think about last season, where he lets Rabbi Matondo cut inside, and that's when I really started getting annoyed at him. He is not good enough for Celtic. Celtic should be cutting their losses and trying to get a better winger in Jangany, because if you're trying to tell yourself that Yang is a Celtic quality and everybody's entitled to their opinion, I understand that. But he's not.
He's
He's
not
just
even
not. It's
SPL
nowhere
quality.
near it. And I seen it being put around today and that, and I actually agree with people putting it on Twitter. I think Yang would start for Dundee United. I
Yeah,
don't.
well,
I don't.
that's what I mean. He's no
Aye.
even a league level.
Aye.
And
He wouldn't
see, be
even start for
honest,
Aberdeen. He wouldn't start for Hibs. He wouldn't start for Hearts.
well, he might start for Hearts the
No,
way they are now, but
no. But if you but he's not good enough.
But I was genuinely see the way the day went, see that last corner, it wouldn't have shocked me if it went in the net. It would not have shocked me because I just felt it's been, and I know you've said for I would say 6 weeks now that it's been coming, but that was as flat as anything. That's as flat as I've seen as this season. And I know we've not been great, but we were really flat. I mean, normally you fancy us to nick a goal. I never ever once thought we were scoring the day.
No, you could have. I was watching it with a pal, and I actually said who is one of them. But so I was watching it with him, and I actually said to him, 50 minutes, we're not scoring. He's like, would, and I says, we're not scoring. I says, game's done. Because, and normally I would have that feeling in Celtic would score, wasn't the other day, because the ball would get to the midfield, and then Maida would, who I thought was awful today. I honestly I'll give him past marks because obviously
We're over relying on him, especially when Coon's no there.
aye,
There's an emphasis on Maida. I actually thought first half we weren't too bad today, but the
the
second
first
half
20 aye,
we come off the edge of a cliff.
the first 20 minutes were okay. We had a chance with McCowan. He kind of managed to just we kept dragging shots wide, like
Yeah,
constantly. The shots were getting dragged wide. Hatati has a chance, but he should really spread it to Kyogo.
yeah.
And I'm like, and you're thinking, right, okay, but I never seen that team sheet this morning. I know before kickoff,
Well,
I thought,
I arrived up at Dundee outside Tannadice, and then I checked the team, and I'll be honest with you, when I heard that back four and the wingers, I just went, oh, don't fancy this.
and people might say, oh, well, there was injuries out with who'll control this viral bug or whatever's going about. Which is going about because obviously I get that, but you can't sit there. We can't sit and boast about how good our depth is, and then the players that are coming in because
It's good in certain positions, Joe.
because I don't think our depth is as good as we think it is, and that's my reason. It's good in certain positions. Defensively, good cover with Scales, because realistic, when you ever going to have two your centre halves out, like it's very rare. Ralston, the fall off is drastic, and I know a lot of people like defending Ralston and all that stuff. It's just a fact. It's the drop off is vast. I don't think I've never thought it was backup quality at Celtic personally.
Well,
I would even go as
there's better backup in you're not telling me that Anthony Ralston's the best backup Celtic can get.
No.
And 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 if I'm being really harsh and Tony, I've been holding this in, Josh, on the podcast, but anybody that knows me will tell you, been saying it, he's had one good season,
Hmm.
and and if you're really, really lucky, you maybe get one good cross in a game from him.
I thought when he's come off the bench, he's looked decent in games, but I just think when he starts games, he just looks so clunky, just looks awkward on the ball. Then you've got the depth in the midfield, which I think is fine. You've got McCowan, Bernardo, and Engels there for a depth in the midfield. So you've got a decent depth, but then this is where I really get disappointed. We should not be relying on Luis Palma to try and dig us out a game.
Especially when it's an open secret he's going to be away.
Aye, Yang is, and then you're relying on Yang, who's just not good enough. Ida, fair enough, but that's the striker position. The lack of other
He
attacking
should have
options.
started today, my personal opinion, and we'll get on to striker because
Aye,
I think it needs there.
and I'm gonna, and when we go into try, I'm gonna have a go at two of them because I get a bit frustrated as well though. But I think it's already the thing, Mike. We need a winger in January because we need somebody to come off that bench to actually make an impact. Even when James Forrest is fit, has he really made an impact this season off the bench? No.
Fleetingly, but James Forrest, I'm going to say this, club legend, and he deserves the respect he got for the medals he gets. But I will say this, Josh, he should have retired last season because it
I take
wasn't going to get any better than that.
to be honest, I take James Forrest out because I know why James Forrest is there. I do,
Well,
and I don't discourage him doing like if he wants to sit there and hoover up trophies, I'd be doing the exact same.
and
James
let's be
Forrest,
honest, that's why Stephen Wilson's there.
James Forrest has done it, but that's the difference. James Forrest has done it a bit for Celtic. Now I'm not the biggest James Forrest fan, but I can appreciate what he's done for the club.
But I took him the day, mate, believe me.
I know. I think then the strikers. The one major chance we had in that second half was it Kyogo's chance.
He deflects it to him and he seems
Alistair,
to just kind
that's
of toe pocket it.
that needs to be 1-0.
Yeah.
It needs to be, and I, I love Kyogo, right? I really do, right? And I think if it continues, I think we're going to have the uncomfortable question: is Kyogo's time up at Celtic?
I
And
don't
don't give
think
me
he suits his style.
I,
I
I don't
don't.
no, I don't buy that. It's probably maybe part of it, but I don't buy any either because you don't need to suit the style to know how to put your foot through a
Yeah,
ball. Like
yeah.
I don't know what he's done there because he did
It was
actually does
kind of,
well.
I hate saying this about the wee man, but it was a bit kind of half-assed.
He seemed to half-arse it. I don't know if I don't. Obviously, we obviously spoke about other Celtic strikers half-arsing it and stuff like that, like Edward at times and
But
whatever. But
barely.
like, I don't think it's in his nature to half-arse it. But I don't know what the fuck he's doing.
He's got more time than he thinks.
And
Got
I don't know
more
what
time than
he
that.
just boots the ground.
Yeah.
Um,
Are
and
we
then
talking about the one that either flex through him and
it's
aye,
the only time we actually get in behind Dundee United. That was the only time. The only other time we got in maybe in behind them was and this was another thing that really frustrated me about Yang. He gets in behind, right? Doesn't
nobody
even
need him, but he doesn't cross it.
no, he crosses it. Doesn't even bother to look up. Now the first thing you're taught, my wee brother does football training, and the first thing you're taught is when you get into the fucking box, look up. He just squats it. And he goes fucking
It's as
half-assing
quick as
it.
he can get rid of the ball.
Aye. But aye, the strikers. I know we've always said Rodgers' style doesn't suit, like, doesn't always rely on the strikers. I'm not buying that anymore. I think it's been an excuse. And I'll tell you why. Because we are relying far too much on. Now, we always talk about how the goals are shared. They're wrong. The goals aren't shared in the attacking third now. The goals are not shared. It's either Maida or Kuhn that we're getting goals for attacking wise. Our strikers aren't doing enough.
Well,
And that's the two of them.
when was the last? I'm trying to think of is either or Kyogo scored since Tynecastle. I'm trying to think.
Tynecastle women. I remember. So Ida scored against Ross County,
Right.
and Kyogo scored against Hibs. So they
Aye.
have scored recently, but
But
like I think when the two of them are in the scope, like so, say Ida gets to start. I've always said Ida doesn't. I don't think Ida's making enough when he gets the starts, and then when Kyogo gets the starts, he's not making enough of it. And it's days like this where you can't rely on Kuhn to. I don't blame Kuhn on it, and I don't really blame Maida because they've broke his out. Like Ida and Kyogo were non-existent in the cup final last week. They were
I mean,
non-existent
if
against.
I see Young in Parma again, I'm gonna scream because we've had them twice this year, and to be fair to say, well, Parma got hooked at half time and won, and they got bought on as a last ditch attempt to try and win the game. And for the I'm going into rant mode now. See, for the people that slag Arnie Engels, see, be
Should have
honest,
started.
he should have been on far sooner than he was.
And this is another
As
point, right?
the manager.
This is another point that I'm going to make. Rio Hatai was awful again, but But when Rio Hatai's on it, but when has he been on it? Like, come on, let's like, and I'm not trying, say everything because I'll give them credit because they won the fucking cup final last week. But these problems have been there. McGregor, he's been and he looks off it. And
Mates of mine, Josh, always say when Celtic are struggling, controversial opinion, and don't give me grief on Twitter or social media for saying that, but your captain becomes Mr. Invisible.
So I don't know. It's not even that. It's not even when stuff gets tough. I just think he just looks burnt. He looks burnt out, and that's down to the club again. How many years have we said need a backup central? But that's why Arnie Engels is there. We've spent £11 million on a player, and you bring him on. And this is where I've got an issue with Rodgers. No, I like Brendan Rodgers. I'm trying not to go overboard. I'm not trying to say everything's went to fuck now. But if you've got an £11 million player and you're in need of a goal, you
You
don't
give
leave.
him 5 minutes.
You don't leave it to 5 minutes. All these Adam Eder should have been on. When Adam Eder not should have been on
Adam
bang.
Eder could have started, Josh.
But
And
apart
we
from that,
said this.
even if he didn't start, he should have been on 60 minutes, along with probably Bernardo and Engels.
And
I know you don't want to take Cal McGregor off, but he was going through the motions.
yeah.
And I get that there's been a lot of big illness, and I get that you've probably got a lot to pick from, but the substitutions were far too late. Arnie Engels should have started. I still stand by that. Arnie Engels should be starting games.
See, to be honest, Josh, and this isn't in hindsight, I said this at the actual game today. I said Jan could be hooked at half time and we should we we should we we should. You don't need to be rigid into a system. I mean,
Aye.
I mean, let's be honest. The United weren't going to come out. So why are we still persistent with the same system when obviously it wasn't working?
And do you know what? See when Adam Eden and Kyogo came up, it gave them something else to think about.
Yeah, that's when we started getting openers.
Exactly. And the problem was that you're looking through the middle, even though we kept trying to go through the middle, which I thought was insanity. And then when we go out wide, but we go to Yang, and we didn't do anything with it. Maida was going through the motions on the other side. So
Nine is burnt out.
there was nothing there's nothing there. And this is what I'm trying to say. You can't just keep saying, well, Maida will get us out of jail, Kuhn will get us out of jail.
You
This is
can't
when
keep
you
relying on individual volumes because it's going to catch up with you.
and this is what I'm getting really annoyed with our strikers, because that's what they're paid to do. And
And
they're not doing it enough.
and see, to be honest, when did he come on? Because obviously I was at the game, so I couldn't. You can never really tell when you're at a
65,
game.
70 minutes. 65, 70 minutes, I think Adam Ida come on.
That's too late.
It's too late. It should have been on at half time. It should have been
Yeah.
on at half time.
Well,
And
he's
they
done
came out
it
the top.
before. I'll give you a model. They bought him on at half time, and they pulled us out a hole.
And that performance today was reminiscent of last season. And I'm starting to see a lot of these kind of performances creep into our play. And it's just I think we need to be seeing more for especially the two strikers. Because at the end of the day, we've paid for Alameda. Now I don't want to bring up price tags and shit, but I'm not seeing enough from the strikers. You can't just keep saying, well, Maida will get us a goal, or Bernardo
You know
might
the
get us a goal.
ideal scenario for me, and this isn't hindsight. You start Alameda in a tight pitch,
Mhm.
and you burn them out. Okay, if you get a couple of goals early doors, you can give Kyogo a rest. But then when they're tired, you can bring Kyogo in, who's sharp, and then be ready to run in behind when you need it. It was
But
roles reversed today, and it didn't work.
but the problem is, right, and this is another big issue I've got, is we have that discussion every few months when we make a few changes, might bring Ralston and Welsh and Palmer, and then people try to make out that they're good enough, even though, especially in Stephen Welsh's case, I know there's been a loan move. Just let him go. In all
Just let
honesty,
go.
he is.
I would take what you can get. Honestly, how he got an extension last year was beyond me.
Um,
I mean, and Mike Naroki, just because if you can't get in before Stephen Welsh, your Celtic career's over.
mhm. And that's
And
why a guy
sorry
who's
if
paid
that's harsh,
£4 million. That's why a guy who's spent
sorry
£4
if
million
that's
quid on.
harsh, but it's absolutely true.
Aye. Um, but obviously, also, it is a point.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
we're still undefeated. But
I'll be honest, today, remember how the last time we dropped points, we kind of battered Aberdeen, and we can put
it
it
was
down
the
to
polar
luck.
opposite.
But today, I don't want to say we were lucky to get a point because I think it would have been daylight robbery if Dundee United had won the game. Tell you the truth,
Would it be?
yeah, it would.
If you don't put these teams away, and I always say this, you don't put these teams away. You give them
Auction,
further, you give them oxygen, and you give them say that we can go here, and that's what happened. See in the last 6 minutes of the stoppage time, Celtic won the team who looked like we're going to win that game. It's Dundee United.
Yeah,
So, and that's a pattern with these games, right? Celtic have 70, and even last week we had about 70% of the ball at points.
I
Mistake
believe
punished.
it was about 80% of the.
Aye, there you go, and we don't do it with it. It's pointless possession, and that's what happens when you've got players. And I'm going to keep digging at them because they're the players that aren't good enough to play for Celtic. I don't know how many people, how many games I need to watch of Lewis Palmer and Yang and fucking Welsh stinking the place out for people to realise they're not good enough.
And see, to be honest, Josh, and I don't really want to mention this. How today was really the first time this season said no point getting a corner. Absolutely no
Oh,
point.
that was my last point. That was my last point. Right, we are now the biggest team in Scotland. Right, by fact. Every time we get a set piece, corner, free kick. By the way, Tannadice's effort at a free kick was awful in that first half. I don't know if you've seen it.
Is that the one? Is that the one that hits so low?
He just boots it right at the wall.
Yeah.
And I said, because my pal, oh, it's a free kick in a good position for you. I was like, won't that no happen?
Well, see where I was at that particular point, I'm saying, where am I going at it? Because he's hit them for Dundee.
So, and then, like, see, to be honest with you, see every corner we get, we may as well just keep back. Because pointless, there's no point.
And even play it short. Because, see, when we put it right in, either it's overhit and it's off the first man and into the goalie's arms. You'll get one of those three. It's what we call it when we're at Celtic Park together. It's corner bingo. We'll get about 20 corners and 10 of them will get into goalie's arms. 5 of them will be overhit and 5 will be off the first man. There's no in between.
And right, in modern football, right, we're seeing the emergence of these set piece coaches. Celtic need to be all over one of them because this has not just been a Brendan. This is not been. This is not just a Brendan Rodgers problem. This is an Ange Postecoglou problem. It was a Neil Lennon problem back in 2012. There has decent free set piece takeaway here that could maybe work a corner him as fucking Charlie McGrew.
Thompson, I would say.
Maybe
I
even
know why you're saying Charlie McGrew because Barcelona, obviously. But in general, our last good corner kick taker left the club in 2005.
Because we're terrible. We're genuinely so bad at them. It's unbelievable. You know it's coming. Fucking Arsenal get a fucking euro of the guy that does their set pieces. Honest to God. Like, they just scored another set piece yesterday.
I never thought I'd say this. I'd love Austin McPhee at Celtic Park, but that's not
Celtic,
happening.
they need to be looking at something because it's getting ridiculous now. Like, set pieces are part of football. So, if you're struggling a game, if you get a corner, at least you can get the big guys up for the front practice, the routine. Because it's put Arsenal out of jail how many times with this season? So they don't score for them and play.
I agree with you.
So, there's a lot of that thing, and I'm not panicking or anything, I'm not pissing the bed or anything, but, like, I just think there was some...
And a net performance, we're going to call it out, and that was a net today. You can have poor performances, but there's only so many times you can say 3 points in the bag, who cares? But that was a net today. I mean, that was, and I hope privately Brendan Rodgers is fuming with that because he should be. But I do wonder, Josh, and I'll end on this, if it's a blessing in disguise. Because they need
I think there's a
They've
bit of
needed
complacency.
a jolt for weeks.
I think there has been a wee bit of complacency sleeping, and it reminds me a bit of last season. We started the season pretty well, and then I'm not saying but I don't know if it is a bit of complacency, but the annoying thing for me is it's highlighted a lot of what Celtic fans already knew. We knew
Yeah,
we needed a
well,
winger. We knew that apart from the ones that are just defend players within an inch, we know Kyogo.
I would. Oh,
We
you
know
go.
Kyogo's not a Kyogo. And people say, "Oh, well, maybe it's not the Rodgers system for strikers." And that Kyogo's not been fine all season. We've just not wanted to admit it. We
Yeah,
at least, and people who defend Ralston and say that Ralston's this and Welsh is that, I'll tell you, they're shite. And
yeah.
so that's the frustration. We've needed a winger. So it seems every January we're buying a winger at this rate.
Winger or left back. Oh, and the left back, farce going on at the club. How long are we going to have to wait until we get the left back position adequately sorted? Because
So
as it stands at the moment, we have got, we don't, Celtic don't know who'll be. We don't have a left back for next season. Next
um,
season, folks.
there needs to be a shopping list, I think, with who we're going to
Winger,
bring in.
the
It
whole
can't
left side,
it,
the whole.
it can't be this farting about like last year. They get lucky with Ida and Kuhn,
Yeah,
and it can't be this farting about. And I'll go as far as saying this: the first 2 weeks in January, I expect to see a signing through though,
2
because I'm
weeks,
not having
2
this.
days. I'm at 2 days.
I'd expect to see a signing through though in the first fortnight of January. If we don't sign anybody in the first 3-4 and we'll leave it to the last minute again, I'm gonna get a bit annoyed because there's been a clear plan of what needed. We've known we've needed a left back for 6 months.
Arguably, Josh, and I'm not being flippant. We've no adequately, ad, we've not reasonably replaced the one we've been linked with.
I see you just gave up that word there, man.
Yeah,
Adequately. Can't
no,
you?
I just it's 3 days before Christmas. I got up
Pissed
at
already,
9
man.
o'clock this
Pissed already.
morning to go and watch that. So I'm a wee bit pissed off, folks.
Like Alistair, I'm going to play devil's advocate because it's been a really negative reaction, right? But you know what? Well, at the end, obviously,
I'm not with a positive one, Josh. I will flip the
but you know, as I said earlier on, if you look at it, you can look at it both ways. Which I'm trying to tell myself, if you told me we'll be 9 points clear of Rangers,
effectively 10.
10 points clear with the goal difference at the start of August, I would have bit your hand off. We've done well in Europe this year so far. We've obviously won.
I don't think that means we should let standard slip, and I'm
No,
proud that's the way a lot of people see it. I mean, people say, "Oh, you're going a bit OTT." No, this has been a build up. I mean,
it's been
like
coming
you
up.
say, but I mean, there's nothing I'd love more for the next 3 games. Celtic to score 9 goals and then say what was all the panic about.
I hope
But
and a few
but
signings through them.
I think, and I'm hoping that's what Rodgers meant yes on Friday when he said, um, I spoke to the board to tell them what was needed. That's my hope, Josh, and that will, as you say, we'll get signings in the door. But you're right, we shouldn't panic.
No,
But I'm
I
going to
don't think
call
it's.
it out. I
Aye,
don't
no, you
think
need to
we're
call it.
going to see a bad performance.
No, I just think obviously we're still undefeated. Well, I do think it is a bit overreacting at some people. I think people think we've lost 10 games in the trot. But we are 2 draws in the league this season. The first one was at Aberdeen, which I think was really unlucky. This is the first kind of drop points when I thought we didn't
Completely.
deserve the 3 points. So, as I said, we've done the progress in Europe, but I think it's important. It'll be interesting to see, when we get to January, has the approach changed in terms of how we get signings in? Is it still going to be the same
It
kind of?
needs to be. It
Is it?
needs to be. Because let's be honest, this is the first time people are going to be looking at Paul Tisdale. And because, say what you like, heads of recruitment, I know he's not called that, but let's be honest, that's what he is. So, heads of recruitments are judged in the middle of transfer windows.
Aye.
And who we've scouted and who we've signed. So let's just hope that today gives them a jolt because, and as we said earlier, Josh, we do need a bit of refreshment, I think.
I think so. Obviously, we move on to Motherwell on Boxing Day. It's just we need the 3 points in these next 2
Well,
games.
the next 2 games, we can't go to Ibrox any worse off.
Aye, no,
We can't
definitely.
really because otherwise, if it goes wrong in the 2nd of January, panic will set in.
Because it's for right
Then
back.
then you don't. But I don't wanna. Am I worried that we'll lose the league? Of course no. But I'm just Celtic have got the money to sort the positions that need sorted.
Aye, there can't be any farting about that. There needs to be clear targets to who we want. If that's Kieran Tierney for left back, then that is who it is. If we go to Barcelona,
That's
they want
last
that.
year for left winger. I know I butchered that name
Mhm.
again. Please God, don't sign him because I don't think we can pronounce his name. But
But it needs to be a clear target process of who we're going for. No farting about like last year and
before
panicking.
you go, Josh, would you bring in a striker?
Well, to be honest, see for the first striker, I just
No,
promote somebody.
no, I don't mean third striker. I mean, would you?
Somebody would have to leave. A striker would have to leave.
And it's not
But
going to be that.
it's not going to be that. I don't see Kyogo leaving mid-season. So
I
probably
do
not.
think it
No.
might. There's like, I think today was the first time I thought Kyogo, this might be your last season. I really did think that
Aye.
tonight. If I'm being totally honest.
But I'm not going to even bother with man of the match because it's.
Well, personally, it should be one of the ones that got traipsed up there at 9 o'clock this
Aye.
morning.
Bye. Going to end it there as well. Just before we go, hope you all have a Merry Christmas. Hope you have a good Christmas, Alistair.
And you.
Don't get too pushed.
That depends on Boxing Day.
And then we'll be back. We'll probably have a Motherwell preview because obviously it's
No,
Christmas and Wednesday, whatever. The game's on
no.
Boxing Day, but we'll be back on Thursday after the game for post-match reaction. Hopefully, Celtic getting back to winning ways. Until then, speak to you later. Have a Merry Christmas and hail hail.